listed under the second schedule.
Complex for some people who are not familiar with it. Thank you.
8 points.
In the World Drug Reports 2013, page 49, contains considerable amounts, not only of cathinone and cathinoyl propanols. In addition, Miraa also contains alkaloids. Article application of the above international of the Constitution of Kenya provides that all treaties in Kenya form part of the laws of Kenya. Additionally, the inter-treaty undertakes to observe the treaty provisions in that Parliament does not pass laws that will negate the obligation. The Ministry and NACADA have no mandate in the international class of narcotic drugs upon the recommendation of the World Health Association. The Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Act was assented to in 1994. The negative effects of consuming Miraa have been reported. Periodontal disease, oral mucosal, that is the precancerous lesions. If not treated, it ends up in oral cancer. For full-term infants, tumors of the oral cavity, and other effects on the urinary bladder, a considerable burden on public health system. Additionally, productivity losses due to families who have diverted resources to cater for their relatives incapacitated by initiative to raise awareness about the potential risk targeting both users and general population, as captured by WHO. Legislation and sale of Miraa, focusing on harm reduction and protecting vulnerable populations. It is also banned in USA, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Kuwait have also banned Miraa. This presents a marketing challenge to our In view of the above observation, the classification of Miraa as a psych measures, lawmakers can promote healthier and safer environments for members of society.
We said we want the facts, eh?
Yes.
With all these negative effects that she has elaborated, is there any documentation?
The Cabinet Secretary, the Ministry of Health, then we have the plenary where we are going to enter the Citizens Board. And as you come, I just hope to elaborate on them. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Job Kandie, and I'm here representing the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Reviewed the amendment bill and taken note of the proposal to remove cathinone. Pharmacy and Poisons Board through the Ministry of Health the following proposals for consideration of the amendment proposal with the following justification. Pharmacy and Poisons Board, by regulating the profession of pharmacy and ensuring efficacious and affordable health products and technologies. I would wish to say this so that of the Act is responsible for regulating the illicit use of Convention of Narcotic Drugs of 1961, the Convention. Chair, accordingly, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board is designated Article 16 and Article 12 of the 19 conventions are respectively. As such, Honorable Chair, Pharmacy and Poison Board, which regulates all member states when it comes to the controlled substances, and when I say controlled substances, these are the illicit narcotics, psychotropics, and precursor chemical substances used within the country, either confined to the estimates submitted to INCB by the nation or Miraa is classified as a scheduled crop under the Crop Act number 16 of 2013. However, the crop and cutting, which substances are internationally controlled and listed as psychotropic. These substances in cut are thus subject to international control. The Act, in pursuance of Kenya's obligations under the convention, are similarly scheduled cut of Kenya 2010 under Article 43, subsection 1, guarantees Kenya subsection 1 stipulates the rights of consumers to the protection of health, safe public health. Honorable Chair, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board therefore strongly opposes the proposal to delete cathinone and state of dependence and central nervous system stimulation or depression or thinking or behavior or perception or mood, and the use of Miraa is being or is likely to be abused substance under the international control. Are qualitatively similar to those of amphetamine. Increased blood pressure, a state of euphoria, elevation with feeling of increased alertness will therefore be catastrophic to permit removal of this substance from scheduled public health problems. Kenya, as it has been said, is a signatory in 88 protocol and which undertakes to limit and use of these products, which are primarily, Honorable Chair, Article 3 of the 1971 to the same measures of control as the psychotropic substances which it contains to the most strictly controlled of those products. That is between the cathinone and cathin to the International Narcotic Control Board. Scientific name Catha edulis is recognized as a plant-based as being legal in Kenya, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, but controlled by the substance in cat subject to international control. Therefore, the extraction of cathinone and cathin 71 convention, Kenya is obligated to limit the use of psychotropic substances. The 1971 convention under Article for the early identification, treatment, education, aftercare, rehabilitation. In our case, are the products contained in cat. In the event, there is reason to believe that where Kenya is a signatory are being endangered by the convention. Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Control Act of 1994 says only. Kenya is not allocated currently the two products, that is cathin and cathinone, which are contained in the control board. The convention of the 1961 and 71 always mention within their schedule or changes the scheduling of substance already controlled. And that's why this product, WHO went through the process. It was concluded that it must do the schedules. The conventions provide for a review which may be initiated. When it is arrived at, WHO recommendations goes to the Commission of Narcotic Drugs for acceptance on the basis of the best available evidence, the medical properties of a substance placed under international control after WHO, the committee within the The importance of the process of WHO is to balance the adverse health consequences of its unauthorized. The Pharmacy and Poisons Board is of the considered opinion that, and Kenya is a signatory country, is expected to comply cathinone and caffeine substances found in contravention of the convention and against the constitutional rights to the highest attainable standard of health. Thank you, Honorable Chair, and I submit.
Sought by the honorable members and other participants. So we are going to take
I want to, in expert report, expert committee on drug dependence. Page 11, I want you to have this document, the gentleman from, and see the comment from WHO, which you have really quoted severally. So if you maybe, because that is what I'm saying, we should present facts. This is the current review from WHO.
Whether the two presenters, the one from Nakara and the second presenter, are experts in the areas, or whether they are agents who have been sent to read papers.
I came as a team, so you'll be able for all the issues which will come. Are you capable, Nakada and please to respond?
Or is there someone from WHO?
Honorable Chair, we were not just sent to read. I'm the head illicit control unit within Anthropics and precursor chemical substances. So, yes.
Friend there.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Issues, and at one point, she said that Miraa was banned in UK. Do you have any document from the countries showing that it? You only went through the effects of Miraa, and at one particular.
Thank you. Well noted. Senator Haji.
Thank you, Chair. The name was Mr. Kandie. In reply to Professor, I would presume as an expert you have done research which was done on Miraa. If you could please respond to that. Thank you.
In fact, yeah, have they gone to school? I just want to know they've gone to, you don't just
Nakanda and the health department. I would like to know from Nakanda and even the Ministry of Health, negative, harmful effects on human beings. What amount exactly? Because maybe when you chew one stick or two sticks, and to control the cathinone and cathinone effect. On the same, on the issue of banning of Miraa in UK, there is a report from the Commission that advises the UK on littering and not on being a harmful drug. Products that have cathinone, why are they so much only on Miraa? And I've never seen them so busy arguing cases, main questions that I would like answered while we come on. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, before we proceed, we have honorable members who joined us. I would give them.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is John Paul Mwirigi. Maybe as the complete introduction, I would like to do, when the presenters were presenting, I have of Miraa. I want them to know from all those negatives, the positive side of it. Because from the area which I come from, in front of us, or you have rent in front of us, I have served these people and I have grown from this area and the truth about the negative things which they have mentioned as the reason why Miraa was banned of the substance which they are seeing here, because which indicates clearly why Miraa was banned there, and Mheshimiwa to them. Thank you.
Through the chair, as the Honorable John Paul has put it, so we want to see that research which gave all these negatives that you learned, because you cannot just read from the...
Senator Githuku.
Introduction. During introduction. I was acting...
Proceed.
Okay, Taitum. Chair, without much ado, in 2021, the county government of Meru was the lead consultant today. What I can say is that they are to impress the listeners and the reporters in this meeting, not in what they are giving in theories.
People of Lamu, member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have Nakada first, you respond, then we'll have the questions both.
Thank you, Chair. The Chair, allow me to highlight that NACADA is a statutory body mandated in the programmatic framework and the national, and we are the national focal point for the Commission. We are seeing on the program the researchers will be presenting, and I know some of them will actually be presenting some of these research. To respond under the recommendation, one, in terms of usefulness, it says there is no confirmed therapeutic usefulness awareness creation, and WHO clearly says the committee recognizes that social and some health problems as consequences. Chair, it is in the same expert committee.
But they cannot regulate cat. It's in that same page.
Madam.
Thank you, Chair. Expert Committee on Drug Dependence that has been quoted on page 11, highly consistent data regarding the dependence potential of cat, withdrawal symptoms and slight trembling. But these symptoms and resolve rapidly. Some tolerance. Highlighted, or I just read the whole page.
How long? When you say how long, after how long are those effects felt?
Reporting what is written on the WHO expert, so it doesn't denote the time frame. On cat and determine that the potential for abuse and dependence is under international control. Therefore, the committee recognized that social and some health problems result from the excessive use of produce that may lead to these adverse consequences. I complete the part. We did not report because of caffeine. When we are reading the parts that the honorable member said, WHO expert committee, it clearly puts that there is no therapy done and effects. Chair, there is a session for, and I believe they'll be sharing on this. In terms of educational level, Hopkins School of Public Health, my background from bachelor to degree is in addiction studies. Thank you, Chair.
Chairman. Chair. Involved to study their effect.
That's why I said the research teams will be able to present is the effects of the Miraa use in our surveys that the community actually came and told us you're classified, we need to be at a table. Thank you, Chair.
Chairman, then when there there is no reason. They just saying that Miraa was banned. But
you may respond to that.
Chair, I was saying that when we did our submission, we only highlighted the countries that have banned Miraa. We did not highlight the reason, the effects of Miraa and the compounds in it, and the scheduling of the same. Chair, are in this.
It should be put in record that the presenter has already recanted what she was saying. Two, she has said there are no other things that does not relate actual investigation concerning the quantities. If it proves, it is the highest time they should drop what they are talking.
Doctor, sorry, I forgot your name. Dr. Orlando. I want to WHO expert recommendation in defending the now. One thing first. Drugs which have severe psychotropic effects on human beings.
Yes.
If they have medicinal value, first it will have to have medicinal. You've said very clearly it has no therapeutic benefit.
Yes.
So why is it a drug? First question. Second question. On the expert, to make me understand a few things. The dependency potential that consistent data regarding the dependency potential. Inconsistency.
Yeah.
If we were to go by this meaning of inconsistency data,
yes, from both sides.
We cannot rely on. The experts could include may, okay? So it's not definite. Symptoms are mild. If I was just to go by this expert report, be correct to say that Miraa should first actually be put aside, as anything, and third and finally, why should we rely on the West research on a product by African community? Why should we rely? Why shouldn't we have this product or the growing of this product? Or if it is a committee to believe, why don't we completely and stop the people of Meru from growing it?
Chair, thank you very much. The reason why our brothers and sisters in Kenya, Miraa is a cash crop, is a source of livelihood. And you are also telling us there is this report from WHO that legalizing use of Miraa. As a has Ministry of Health and yourselves in Nakada tried to do WHO can be put aside Kenyans to use Miraa and even sell Miraa. Because where we come from, in as much as, why do we actually listen to foreign countries? Because, yeah, Norway doesn't grow either. But if it is going to be actually told that it is going to be illegal, then it means we are actually cutting people's free. Because you know this Miraa goes even to UK, other countries, even if it is legalized. Because 4 o'clock every day, I running almost 200 kilometers. I mean a speed of 200 kilometers. I mean 200 to bring Miraa to Nairobi. Not have taken a proper research to assist us. Because for you to stand there and just tell us Miraa is illegal and it has those 2 substances, if you don't have capacity, we can tell the government to do proper research on the same and even look at...
Thank you. Doctor
Orlando.
Orlando, I'm on point. I'll be on point. And that is telling. That is very important. Now, have you done... Was your PhD study on Miraa published in a peer-reviewed journal on Miraa?
No.
Because as you said, your PhD is on addiction, and you've done studies on addiction.
Addiction is a mental health condition, so yes.
So have you done a paper on cathinone and caffeine as substances, those 2?
No.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Nairobi, in conjunction with the Meru County, did research on Miraa. Are you aware of this research?
Yes.
And a report. Because as per the report there, the Miraa, the University of Nairobi research issues and things in Miraa that can be used for our Miraa, caffeine and cathinone taken very, very little insignificant effect. Are you aware of that? And if you are not aware, I think you can go and refer to that research and report and by local people and by professionals from the University of Nairobi in conjunction with Meru County.
Thank you. Respond.
Research, we are aware of the contents and we're also aware of why it did not proceed. But since Kemri is here, caffeine and cathinones, we've done research. Our prevalence data captures the number of individuals who are sick of classification of substances. Classification sharing more on this. In terms that national organizations like create more awareness about the effects of Miraa and the potential. I'll allow my colleague to share more about those effects, my colleague from NACADA.
Please try to be brief.
Yes,
we are running short of time.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just answer Annex 4 of the report from the Miraa conference. The study of cat use and psychotropic symptoms by Lynette Ong. The findings are on column 3, Hassan MA. The findings are on column 3. There's an investigation on isolation of parasites, a research done by our position as we are putting now, and they are part of the report from the Meru conference in conjunction with the university.
Briefly, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be very brief. Is the National Competent Authority. And as a national competent passed by the Commission of Narcotic Drugs, because we are a member state, to throw stones a lot, because there are rules or there are laws which are in place, which as a country, which we have already expressed, for you to import, to do an import of such product, you have to have a permit from the National Competent Authority. I support that product. You have to be authorized. It has to be authorized by the trading country, the competent. Throw stones as we present our presentation, Chair. Because, like, if you look at Article 12, if a member state wants to ship or to export precursor chemical substances, either for medical or scientific purpose, you have to be given a permit. Let's just be very frank and nation. It has to be endorsed.
Chair,
After endorsing that product, then you also send for record.
we are going through theories. We had asked questions which are not responding to. Because we want facts. Number one, we have said that Miraa is a cash crop in this country. Also international instruments. Yeah? Which is okay because that is your line of argument. For Kenyans, we represent people. And this government is actually collecting revenue from this Miraa business. Can we hear from you whether it's possible to do to have a solution to this problem? Number two, if you don't have capacity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Just 1 minute. We are winding up, yes?
Yeah, okay, thank you. From these members, Chair, is that they have no statistical data. Kenya is a signatory to the 3 international treaties. To them, they have no issue. It's only that they are reading papers that have been given to them. Two, the presenter, the doctor, is saying that nobody is doing that excessive chewing in Kenya and even in other countries.
Yes, the last
I heard her, instead of giving statistics, saying that they have done a lot of study and the Miraa has a negative effect to mental health. In that hospital as we are talking. Are they the leading? If you go to Mathare Hospital.
Yes, Deputy Speaker.
Cathinone and cathine, which is manufactured drug. I'm talking of cathinone and cathine in this plant. You are importing so that I know you must need those certificates, but that is and cathine I'm talking about is in this plant, in its natural state. So maybe from psychotropic ile ndawa iko inatengenezwa kwa maabara. Mimi naongea juu ya cathinone psychotropic, those things in the labs, produced in the lab, Mr. Kadi.
The honorable member who has just walked in to introduce himself to be on record.
Thank you, Chair. Meru County.
So
I'm a friend of the committee.
So Professor, then Senator Mulgo, kindly.
If he has gone to school, I don't know whether he's gone to school.
I will confirm. Thank you, Chair. Yes, I've gone to school, I've studied and among other courses.
Well, that may not be enough. I think my sense of school may be different. But let me go to the point. You have addressed, and this is important, you addressed the doctrine of pacta sunt servanda, which is the obligation to comply with international treaties, clausula rebus sextantibus, which is by virtue of new research and developments becoming irrelevant, research in these two substances or extractions in these two substances. So I think that's important. But Dr. Let me ask you 2 questions. Have you done research on Miraa yourself?
Myself, I've not done research on Miraa.
Have you?
I've not written a paper.
Sit down.
Is out of order. So Senator Murgo, just an intervention. I will allow you. I will allow. Just hold on.
Point of order, Chair. I think today is Friday. The time of plenary, so that we can take it up later. More specifically, maybe we need to give an opportunity to SUPKEM who are here, so that they can do their presentation and go for.
Chair, I would ask that as members of the committee and members of parliament sitting here, we should restrain as much as possible to intimidate any of the government officials, to intimidate, insult, or question the. So, Chair, on behalf of the committee, if you could please apologize, who is a member of this committee, for his mistake. There are other people who are going to submit.
Thank you, Senator Haji. Indeed, we apologize and we urge you to continue on the spirit you are continuing, and you can have the floor to have just 2 people.
I would like to say that the plant really has effect because the goes to Miraa chewers. Actually, is the benefit. What does it do to you? What benefit you health-wise, mentally, and all that? Even though a little kidogo. In Pokot, for example, those who chew actually isolated from the society. They sit by themselves. They are so sleepy, lazy, and have it that they do not even perform their duties on bed. And so practically and widely perceived. So and convince the general perception.
Now, before you answer, Dr. Kad, them are just about to go for their prayers, and maybe you can have a seat. We give them a moment. They say what they have to say. That
Inform Senator Mulugo that his boys are abusers of Miraa. Those abused.
Defense and Foreign Relations, fellow stakeholders, representatives and interest groups. Chair, when I raised my hand, actually, I was raising on a committee because, Chair, we were invited to come and do presentations based on what we have shared with you before. What of conversation with you, because you still have time to decide on the report on your own without us. So when you invited us because you wanted to hear us, please hear us, then you make your own decision when you have others. All of Kenya Muslims, an umbrella body representing Muslims. And I must make declaration here, Chair, that as much as I am the chair of the Supreme Council, I am also one of the board members of that. We received a copy of the bill for the Act of Parliament to amend the voting. Mr. Chair, that the purpose of the bill exempt gardenion and catherine substance found in Miraa crop as a psychotropic substance. And to us, and my presentation here is specifically to argue a long session from the Miraa. We did not have any other conversation out of that conversation. It is made clear in the memorandum of from the list of substance mentioned in schedule, will in essence remove Miraa from the list of drugs as classified by NACADA. Thus providing more market access. In objection to the proposed amendment on the following grounds. One, the amendment, in our view, is cathinone and cathinoid substances are psychotropic substances because incorruptible of psychotropic substances in the second schedule. The Act does not render cathinone and cathinoid found in Miraa less psychotropic or properties of the substance from Miraa. In essence, removing the sticker marked poisonous. In this regard, if honorable members, delegates of the Senate, approve this amendment, you will have an secondly, honorable chair and members of the Senate, this bill is blind at the expense of science. And as you debate this bill, we kindly and most respectfully sanctioned under the Act is because of their long-term harmful effects on health of those who consume the substance. So that health is a default function, just as much as agriculture is default function. You to approve this bill to allow free reign of psychotropic substances that are promote Miraa as an agricultural crop. For this reason, we urge honorable members to do some the country will suffer in allowing free reign of Miraa. We therefore, members are properly guided by science on Miraa, you will not hesitate and you will not regret rejecting this bill. Briefly, Islamic point of view on this matter. A practice common in some cultures is viewed its detrimental effects on health, wealth, and the family life. While the Quran and Islamic teachings about avoiding harm can be applied to understand its Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and spend in the way of Allah and do not throw your and do good. Indeed, Allah loves the doers of good. The first harmful substances like guts. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, indeed, intoxicants, gambling, stone halters to other than Allah, and defining arrows are to may be successful. Though the primary fast is interpreted broadly to avoid all forms of intoxicants and harmful substances. And finally, it supports the idea of avoiding any activity that harms oneself or others. The Prophet said, every intoxicant has psychoactive properties that these hadith to substances. General principle is Islamic teachings emphasizes the preservation of health from the Holy Quran and Hadith. Preservation of health. That harm the body is discouraged. Wasting wealth on harm is contrary to Islamic principles of financial responsibility and stewardship. As I go to sit down, Chair, Islam highly values, and which is a responsibility upon man, which it will be questioned Miraa in this country. Let us not cheat ourselves. The majority, the consumers of Miraa in Kenya, the majority of actually been very happy if the honorable, the mover of this motion, him, someone who has been affected by chewing Miraa, without ones who consume Miraa, and those who have suffered from the Miraa. So it's not fair just to look at the ones who are able to contain and control themselves against those who can. Thank you.
As I arouse Senator Haji to make his remarks, I now hand over to Senator Duro to continue with session 3.
Chair, as we have listened to the submission by the national chairman of a board member, I would just want Al-Haj Hassan Olenado You don't have to worry about, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we have placed our own personal beliefs from a community that is perceived to be big consumers of this product. My electorates will not be very happy. I have sworn by the Constitution, and I have to unbiased position on this matter. Sheikh Aulinado, going by, you stated that this bill is blinded by economic prospects at the expense of science, submitted initially. Wasn't hit the consumption of Miraa, the classification of Miraa as a drug. Now, as a member of the NACADA board, as to why alcohol is not classified as a drug, it's not that I'm against alcohol. Of course, I do. Countries have found it in their nature to legalize alcohol. Now, what the people of Meru are requesting has been given to alcohol. Why can't we change the name of NACADA to the abuse of alcohol, drugs, and drugs? This is something this committee will also want to understand. Let us separate two things. As we see, what every country tries to control is the abuse. Substances have medicinal values. In most developed countries now, they are declassified. So I think, and I would hope that as a country we could all be a little bit progressive and try to figure out, but are they behind the research on Miraa? Rightfully stated. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
I think I am the boss of this session now. Oh. Just a minute, Mheshimiwa. I think we are not doing very well. Presentations, and then we can have a quick plenary. Since we have written submissions from some of the institutions, they can do. So let's agree that we allow presentations, or you have a burning issue?
Oh, Chair, I want us to exonerate ourselves from the blame from the board member. The committee is intimidating. What he was doing, he was borrowing.
Mheshimiwa, with all due respect, let us not take that. No. I have listened to SUPKEM. Can we move to intergovernmental relations? Since you have written submission, thank you. No, it's not going. Are they going? No.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Joy Bigambo. I'm the deputy that we are going to give to the Secretariat. But as an institution, our responsibility is one. We are not here to clarify if the mandate by the President to allocate Schedule 4 of the Constitution, which is the county function. So we went ahead, and as much as the national government through NACADA is implementing this in managing this particular drug. I'll take you briefly through the 3 because the same document is going to be shared. With regards to control of drugs and pornography, while equally the national government has to develop legislation and policy to apply reduction of alcohol and drug abuse. Maybe I can read the county functions, which are about the county functions. If you look at the county functions, the second one is formulation of drugs and prohibition, control of pornography with the national framework, has the role to license, oversee and supervise operations of rehabilitation facilities for persons suffering from substance directly and in collaboration with other public or private bodies. And the county also has the function to coordinate and facilitate interagency. The county also has the function to oversee establishment and operations of rehabilitation facilities and continuous review, monitoring and evaluation of measures on control of alcohol and drug abuse. Role to license alcohol outlets. The national government has been given the responsibility to develop legislation and policy on demand of drugs and substance use disorders. The national government has the role to develop policies, legislation, norms and standards on prohibition of pornography. It also has the role to regulate, rehabilitate national interagency collaboration and liaison among lead agencies responsible for alcohol. The national government has research and dissemination of alcohol and drug abuse data. And the national government has the role to license exporters, importers, and manufacture of alcohol. Our role as an institution, we are here to clarify the roles of each level of government. Interesting subject, and the county also has a role. So as we continue to debate, we have a document that has outlined.
We have Kenya Bureau of Standards. Kenya Bureau of Standards. We have Directorate of Pyrethrum and Industrial Crops. Give us an overview since we have a written submission. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, the Deputy Speaker, honorable members of this session, and distinguished guests, Agriculture and Food Authority, specifically Pyrethrum and other industrial crops directorate, allow me to say that our mandate ends as provided in the Crops Act number 6, 2013. And in the interest of time, Chair, because we'll be having milestones to be able to make, Miraa has been scheduled. I would say for clarity because I think there was proper consultations. I would say before I proceed that there has been a lot of asymmetry in terms of information. Put the record in straight to mean that there has been a lot of gaps, and that's why on evidence. And I'm happy to see this that we're not saying that caffeine and caffeine be removed as substance, but we're saying that caffeine and caffeine, as it appears, so that we win here locally and win internationally. And I want to say this to make sure, as Miraa as a scheduled crop, we've been able to take it to lenders, not because of where I come from or something like that. And one thing we've been able to do is to come up with the crops in order to make sure that we're able to, based on research, to the next level. Number two, Chair, we've been able to come up with, the Miraa cat. And we've been able to develop it with other partner government agencies. And I believe and commit that even as we progress, work with us on this matter. And like if you look at regulation number 9 and 8, on issues of transportation of Miraa. We want sanity in terms of Miraa, because to be honest, Miraa to become like any other crop which is reputable in its developed through that standard, proper packaging. As our honorable member said, Miraa was not actually banned because it was, if you look at the product we've been exporting to Europe, before I joined government, I used to be the price being handled, was not meeting what we could call, it could not meet the European retailers protocol on good agricultural practices. After government has been able to board as a scheduled crop, I can assure you and guarantee, I can say Dr. Richoro is there, we've been keen to make sure we work. The confusion that is there is no longer there. And I'm in record when we were doing these regulations, some of the members of parliament were, when we met in Kisumu, from the coastal region, were concerned that we don't need even this regulation. But at the moment we're able to let's pass the regulations. So what I would say, because of time, our officials of nation, signed by our DG, what I would say is, where we are saying that Kadhin and Kadhinun in its natural form appear as it appears in its natural form. I'm not saying Kadhin and Kadhinun is not a drug. I'm saying in its natural form. And then, why do we support this? So that we can progress the work we've started with the institute. If for record purpose, Gazette number 9(3) in progress, we want to have Miraa at the level for purposes of support this, so that we develop and conclude what is in the pipeline. And
Thank you very much, Alpha. I think it looks like and get a solution to this problem. Thank you very much. Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, are they represented? Proceed.
Okay. Good afternoon. I want to make a presentation.
Minutes, you will have to give us an overview. Eh?
I'll do an overview.
Yeah.
Because whatever I've highlighted, it is so we know what is cut, and the bone of contention here, or what we're discussing, is about the two chemicals. Phytochemicals are the chemical compounds in a plant. So Miraa, or those are studies that have been done, and the two compounds that have been isolated. When we talk about around 40 of them are alkaloids and other psychoactive compounds. So when you talk about cathinone, is that unstable compound, cathinone 2, and it transforms to cathin. And so it is just a drug that decomposes very fast from cathinone to cathin. So when you get to KEMRI, that was details of the study, but I'll just highlight. Like the first, what was found was moderate cytotoxic to normal cells. And there were several varieties. When you go to the ground, they have. So I'll go to another study that that was done on the schooling in the midst of CAT. And from this time is where we got both, we could actually look at the positive the children are able to go to school and the parents are able to pay school fees. On the other side, the negative bit of it, or picking or missing school or absenteeism. So the other one was on the mental health bit of it, and it was reported that 36% of the community are chewing miraa, and 54% are actually in the other substances like alcohol and cigarette. And alcohol was high at 78% among the ones who are chewing. There was reduced dental I can say behavior. So there's reduced burden of oral condition. Other substances like that can cause the dental problems. So we are effects that they are looking at. What other beneficial effects can we have from? We found that it had good activity. We actually need further studies that we need to identify the active components. The two, we can also look at the vast phytochemicals that are. So we need to isolate the compounds that are in this plant so that we can see what else activity. The other one study that we did was on community, and we asked what other benefits. We recorded a few of them, and they could actually quote that diarrhea. So you could actually pick, they have other uses. Even when some would say they have research to ascertain the claims. So this is a gap that we can actually pick and see in search of better health. Can we get a drug out of a drug that is a medicine or a substance that can be used for medical purposes? So we asked, that was a study on ethanol, say that it had a moderate cytotoxic to normal cells that it could select. It was, and from the study that was done, it was reported that the people who chew also have there's strange experiences and are reducing the burden of, or it has been found to reduce the burden of oral health. So labor from the school study, there are other compounds that need to be isolated that can be told you have a product, it needs a policy. Then in my conclusion, I would want to say that we have studies that have been done, and the research informs decisions. From every study, you'll also get a gap, so cover up that. So there are some of the data, research that needs to be taken with gap. Also, what is the long-term effect? So we need clinical trials to be able to follow up these patients from the time. Do they have any health issues? So these are follow-up studies that can be done on randomized. Thank you. Almost done.
2 minutes is up. Okay. You wind up.
Okay. So, and we found out they have, and it also had effect on the antimicrobial activity. So the varieties they have can also be a product that can be developed. So I think I would want to acknowledge and the government of Kenya that funded the research in Meru, the health departments, and the board of management.
Thank you. Thank you. Round of applause. We have next Carlo. Carlo. Is it Carlo or Carlo? Very well on time. Thank you.
Madam Chairman, the Senate Committee, MPs present, and all participants, all protocols observed, I'll be brief. The instructions as much as possible. Further, I will not do a lot of talking because those who have talked before me have mentioned. And I'm also the acting director of Miraa Research, Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Research Organization. So I will be brief to say, I will say that the function of our mother organization, which is CARO, KALR, need and regulate agricultural research in Kenya, both. We need to generate information scientifically based. We already have 17 institutes, the youngest. Why Miraa Research Institute? Is because of the gaps which have been mentioned and the need for continuous, coordinated, and biased and at source research. I've seen in the presentations, there are plus positives consumed the same way. So we need also to go into biology of that compound against what other compound. We work very closely with the Tea Research Institute, which is part of offices. You will find that Miraa is a state, so we have no contradiction. The next thing is we are not act because the crop itself is not listed. We want to separate the compound from the standards of the crop, but then of alternative uses of and that's where we are basing our conclusion, which I will say, having read the proposed amendment bill to the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances consists to exempt the biological compound found in because we want to have more research development along the entire value chain, and what CARO is or what it does is also, and have all the participants on board, so we'll become like universities, KEMRI, museums of Kenya, and now back up our decisions, market development policies. Madam Chair, is that let's exempt, let's enact what is done, and let's facilitate home growth and science, and then generate even what will be used for education, extension. Required.
Thank you very much.
That's my submission, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will leave the written.
Of applause to Carlo. Do we have more university? We don't. Thank you. You have 5.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and the Committee of Senate and the members. My name is Professor Joshua Teach, and I do community extension in all aspects. It's very good, all the presenters who have come ahead of me, I think they have anorexia. Anorexia
And this is based to several studies. I'll give the submission in writing. There are studies that have shown that when you feed mice on Miraa, they don't. This can be utilized for science and for development. The second thing, it's very good that I think our research in Meru University is also in University. Miraa has what we call antimicrobial properties. That's why you don't of stomachache in the entire value chain. So Miraa has what we call of our crop. And somebody mentioned that Miraa doesn't have any therapeutic benefits. Therapeutic is beneficial, but you know Miraa has fine. Deputy Senate, I think the undoing we have done to our crop is that this country has not people to conduct research on Miraa. I know that. So it's the high time we don't base it's research carried out in our universities. The other thing I think is not okay. In food we say you can take, also we do additives because I'm a food. People say additives are bad, but we have limits. If there's anybody here from Mombasa and up to this level, beyond this level is toxic. But up to here, even for a long-term effect, it's okay. So we need the debate about the terminology of cathinone in the bill. If the worst of, so that the cathinone in Miraa is not pure, as it is not synthetic. So it's in this in very many aspects. For example, sugar, we know in its pure form is not good, but we recommend to eat fruits with sugar. The terminology can be changed. So in that, for me, I wish to finally say why we are not able to support our crop strongly is that the research we are analyzing them, seeing the effect. For me, I would request more funding on Miraa research. In 2024, we need data and research. So cathinone and cathin in its natural form is not comparable to cathinone and cathin in its pure form. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we can take maybe questions. Do we have that in the afternoon? Oh, we agree. Oh, we finish. Wait. It's going to chair for you after that time. Now, we have religious institutions among us. So we can quickly maybe give questions. Thank you. If you have given us written submission, maybe just give us a quick overview.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Teaching and Referral Hospital, and I'm here to represent Kenya Association of Professionals, at the same time Kenya Psychiatric Association. They are sending their apologies as well. So, and what Miraa is and the contents, but I want to give a little bit about this. 5 years is 7% in this country, and the prevalence of lifetime use of cat was high. Whatever I'm going to say will be directed to you guys, and you really need to reflect on that. that Miraa, and that is cathinone and cathins, have been drugs are things like cocaine, amphetamines, to amphetamines. So I think that should be very clear to begin with. Miraa, unfortunately, affects so many organs of our body. So effects, and the effects start immediately. You start chewing. So, for example, can have increased alertness, improvement in self-esteem, increased ability to concentrate, short-lived. Then we have minor reactions, which include over-talkativeness, overreactivity, insomnia. The effects are excessive fear and paranoia, hostile perceptions of the environment, and in large amounts. So we have memory impairment, it induces psychosis, and you're taking medication for disorders, including schizophrenia. Then there's diminished the therapeutic efficacy of antipsychotic drugs during treatment. You have withdrawal symptoms, and these withdrawal symptoms are nightmares, tremors, depression, affects cardiovascular system from increasing heart rate and blood pressure all the way to stroke and arrhythmia. Okay, we have a number of gastrointestinal system effects, toothaches, caries, decay, dryness of the mouth, and hemorrhoids. Okay. It causes cancer. Some studies have shown that chewing of Miraa can cause cancer, especially. It also affects the health, the reproductive health. So and that's why I said we have many men here. By 22%, reduces libido, so it increases libido by 50%, and erectile dysfunction as well. Then urinary. Women who use this, and unfortunately we have pregnant women who use this, so it affects their sexual function, decreases libido, decreases food intake, causing neurodevelopmental problems or disorders when they emphasize that the action mechanism and the structure of cathinone and cathins are very. So I also wanted to emphasize that addiction is a brain disease. So continued abuse of drugs despite negative consequences. So the other thing is that, which is very cited, we also see social impact, negative impact, and economic impact as well.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. So I just wanted us also to just signed, and we are recommending that cathinone and cathin should be, the use of Miraa and Mugoka be regulated in the same manner as alcohol to the government should implement projects and programs to mitigate the harmful impact of Miraa use, Miraa and other addictive substances into syllabuses and set up at different levels. And finally, a sin tax should be introduced on centers across the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I wish to give each participant at least 5 minutes. I'll start with the Pastors Network.
Honorable Deputy Speaker of the Senate, and my fellow stakeholders, I am with Ali Samuel, Bishop, main economic hub that we have. I'm leading a membership of more than 2,000. To start with, I was born and brought up in Egembe, having gone from my childhood, I've been brought up from that place, and the church, the authority of the bishops and the pastors, to support on these grounds. One, Miraa, as many have spoken about the international treaties, though we are signatories of international treaties, one thing I wonder is if we don't have the Ministry of Health, we can, or international treaties, this Miraa is grown. The truth on the ground to Miraa, so Miraa, according to the church, according to the Bible as much, let them come and get the real truth about Miraa, instead of demonizing it just because other people are saying it, or they think we will take them around, we will take them where we have planted Miraa. Mr. We are ready to take you around the Gembe, all over, and even in our churches. Money that comes from Miraa, we are with the money that comes from Miraa, and the trade thereof. And Miraa, even as we with the international countries, the Western countries, who does not know even what Miraa is, just because we are supposed to look at the vast benefits of Miraa. Benefits of Miraa. Actually, it employs more than the assumption that Miraa is reducing fertility. Let them visit Meru County and especially Gembe, primary and Marire Primary itself has a total of over 1,600. High school has more than 1,300 students. Alone in KCSE, they were taking more students to university. So more than 200 students joined university. I could urge the honorable members a bill, look at with a lot of keenness, knowing that